Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast. I am so honored and grateful that you are tuning in, but I have to ask for your help. I'm going to pull an NPR. If you'd like to help the show, you can donate to the show at emmettmuckles.com/donate, or just visit emmettmuckles.com. Follow the link in the menu to the donate page where you can make a donation of your choice. Thank you.
Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Today is the day that you were given another chance. Today is the day that we should rejoice and be glad because you were given another chance by the Creator. You have to think about this really. In the last year, there are a lot of people who got tired of this plane and for whatever reason transitioned out. But you still have a chance to make a difference in this plane because you are a billionaire. As above, so below. You have a billion cells that make up the self. Therefore, you are a billionaire. Now that I've done with my message, we got to get down to the brass taxes. The American dream, the American family. You need to see this guy's family. They are on point. And he is about what America, is about, which is generational wealth, creating that and keeping it within the family. If we all could really wrap our heads around this, America would be greater than great, better than best, and right on point. Help me to welcome my man, Charlie Bales. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Emmett? That was a heck of an intro. I love it. I don't know how to top that.
You like how I flipped, didn't you?
Oh, I love it. I just really didn't know what to expect, but you just nailed it. I mean, let's go.
All right, man. I'm going to ask you the question, and everybody knows who listens to this what I'm going to ask you. What got you to now? Dun, dun, dun.
I know it's and you know what? I knew you were going to ask me that because I did my homework. But a lot of help is the short answer, and I'm happy to go to the longer answer if you want.
Yeah. So, you are the fourth generation family member of running a 9-figure family-owned business. You don't get there in generations without help because your family probably had to hit you across the head a couple times and go, boy, get on point. And you probably rebelled and was like, I don't want to do that. That's old. I want to do this. But let's diverge back to that journey. I'm going to take you back to the age of 22, and we're going to start there.
All right. I went to work for one of our wholesalers that we deal with, that we buy a lot of product from right out of college, which was a great experience. Looking back on it, I did not get everything I could have out of it because I took it for granted because I was a 22-year-old kid. But it's still a lot of good lessons were instilled, and I got to learn the industry. And then after a year working there, I was out in the Chicago area, and then I moved back to Florida and started working for the family business. And really, I started working for the business when I was in high school, working in the warehouse during the summertime, and that was the first workout of the day. And then I traveled the state a little bit, moved around South Florida and Orlando, and now we're here. I'm 34 right now, so I've been officially with the company for 12, 13 years. It's funny. I might tell somebody I've been with the company 34 years because it's really you're just born and raised in it, and it's just part of our DNA.
So, what is your business?
We are in the adult beverage retail sides.
My God, that's so lucrative.
So I tell people that I'm a drug dealer for a living.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we sell alcohol, except then I tell them legal. It's legal drugs, so don't worry. I'm not doing that. But that's a great conversation starter that they're like, wait, what? Because
Well, nowadays, if you say that to somebody, the first thing they're going to think is like, you sell weed?
Which Lord only knows what we'll be selling in a couple of years. But no, we sell, wine, spirits, beer, and all the party supplies that go with it. So that's our business. We were started right after Prohibition ended. So our founder, Jack Holloway, who's my great grandfather, started in 1936, and it's been a journey. And now we've got 126 stores and 1,600 team members all across Florida.
Wow. So what about branching out? Now, that's an interesting thing that you said, because you said it's basically a localized business, correct?
Local to Florida, yes.
Yeah.
We don't go outside of the state lines.
And why is that?
Because when Prohibition ended and the government gave the states the right to tax alcohol however they wanted, us being America, you had 50 states create basically 50 different laws.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to go to Georgia, we could have 2 stores. 2. That's it. If we wanted to go to Alabama, that's it. Just 2 stores in Georgia.
For the whole state?
So, in the entire state. If we wanted to go to Alabama, which is, again, close to Florida, we can't because the state runs all the retail. Tennessee, you can have 1. So, it's just every state is different. And there are retailers that are in multiple states. We have just chosen not to because we've had the good fortune that we're in Florida. The population is growing. There's more beach than there are people, and it's a great state. It's hot here right now. It's not freezing. So people are moving here. I think if we were in a different state, it might look a little different, but Florida's a nice place to be.
Now, with a family business, family businesses can be actually harder than running an independent, like single operator, because, do you have siblings?
Oh yeah, I have 2 sisters, and they're neither one of them are in the business, but their husbands are, and I have cousins in the business. I mean, there's a lot of us. If I had to name that are actively in the business, there's probably 7 or 8 of us. But I mean, the good news is we all actually like each other. How about that?
Wow, that's bizarre. In this day and age, you see so many things where families are kind of ripped apart. It's actually theater now to see families in disarray. And when you are, and this is one of the reasons I don't watch much television, is because that's television programming. And what you don't realize is that puts that firmware into your system. But you guys, as you say, you get along, you're running a business. Dude, we were talking about this pre the show. With your wife and kids, you are a television show.
Well, my friends and I, we used to joke when we were in high school, God, I wish we had cameras that followed us everywhere because we thought we were hysterical. Thank God we didn't. Jeez.
Now, with this, what can you give people to say, I want to get into this, because, sometimes you have to make some hard decisions, especially when you're dealing with family. Business and family typically do not mix very well, unless one of 2 things. Everybody has the psychological fortitude to understand their positions, just like a football team or basketball team. Also, the other thing is that you have a strong patriarchal system, somebody that puts the hammer down and said, this is the way it is. If you don't like it, you can go find your own path. But if not, you can stay here in the Garden of Eden and reap the fruits. So what dynamic were you guys working with? Because you say this is generational. So this came down from you said your great-grandfather?
Yep. Yeah, I'm the 4th generation. And the 3rd generation is running the business right now.
Yeah.
And I would say that we have gone through and have both of the characteristics that you described. I think that's one of the secrets as to why we're still here, because we all kind of respect each other's areas and we don't tread into each other's areas. And of course, that hasn't just happened overnight. That's taken time. We've all learned that. And we've all kind of found what we're passionate about. Like I run human resources, for example. It's one of the areas that I oversee. And my cousins and brothers-in-law and dad and uncle, they trust me. They let me do it. I don't run marketing. My brother-in-law runs marketing. I trust him to do that. I don't want to run marketing. So that's taken time to figure out. But that is one of the secrets. The first thing that you said, that we do kind of, quote, stay in our lanes as much as we can. And I think that that's a secret to it, is just empower the person next to you who just might happen to be married to your sister to do their job, you know?
You know, that's a weird thing in this day and age, because social media has inflated the gross population's ego. Everybody thinks that everything is easy. I used to be a DJ, and I stopped DJing because people thought they were DJs. People would give me their opinions. I'm like, let me do my job and you'll have a great time. No, play my songs only. Why aren't people dancing? Because I'm playing your songs and you don't understand the art of the business, which is what is really heavy, and you need to understand that there's an art in everything. With that, if you were to offshoot today from the business that you're in, because you'll always see opportunities that are changing in the market, what would that be? Ooh, I got you, didn't I?
Right. Golly. I mean, we're always trying to figure out what's the next step. It really in the consumer's mind, not so much in our mind. And COVID really sped that up dramatically. Because we've always known and been working on the e-commerce platform for the past couple of years, and just improving the overall information experience for our team members and the guests that come in our stores. So we were investing heavily in that before COVID hit, and then bam, it hits. And what happens is it sped up time, 4, 5, 6 years, however much. So, we had the good fortune of investing in the right thing, where the digital footprint, the technological footprint. And I think that's where a lot of our mind is now, is it's marrying the in-store retail experience to the online experience and what the guest wants. When you sell a product that people like to touch, it's not buying a bottle of wine on Amazon that, I don't like this, let me send it back. Like, no, you're dropping $30-$40 on a bottle of grapes. It's hard to bring that experience online. And that's really what we're trying to do. And also give our team members, part of what I do on that front is we got to train the team members to deal with that and to deal with the guest that's online. So it's a completely different experience from a training point of view on giving them the tools to do their job. So, I mean, I don't think I answered your question, because you were asking if we embark on any other business ventures.
No, you did answer it, because, when you're in business, for you to stay in the business for generations, you have to be on the trend. There are subtle trends. There are staples. So staples are like cognac wine, basic wine, a Merlot, a Zinfandel, staples. But then you get spritzers, and then you get what my daughter calls Karen drinks, which are, you knew what I was talking about as soon as I said it.
Oh gosh, I love it. Does your daughter want to move to Florida, come work for us? We have an opening in the marketing department.
She's 11.
Perfect.
She's like, Daddy. Like,
all right, call me in 10 years.
But, and that's what I was just trying to figure out, because there are some things that I've been looking at as far as management and some courses that I've been taking. And one of the things is, developing your framework so that you can always capture the trend, before it happens or forecast where you need to go. That's where that question came from. But, you were born into the business. So can you give any advice on how to build a business that lasts for generations that can be passed down to a family? I mean, I could do one right now. I literally can. I could just go get me a lawnmower and I can start cutting the grass on my block and then get a few more people. And then when my son gets like 18, like, here's your riding lawnmower, go pick up where I left off. You don't have to go to college. You can be making a decent living, even though it's only for like 6 months out of the year up here. But you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of opportunities, but the problem is, and what you don't see is what you have, which is it gets passed down. Even in this entitled era that we live in, people are always looking for the new and shiny versus the staples. So how is it that your family has stayed the course for 4 generations?
A lot of empowerment to the up and coming generations and letting them, me being one of them, kind of figure out the way. And what I mean by that is that I was given a lot of opportunity to figure things out. I was supported. When I wanted to go get my MBA, I was supported. When I wanted to go to a different part of Florida to work for the business, I was given that opportunity. And I was also encouraged to always look outside of the business and just look at other opportunities. So I wasn't necessarily pushed to be where I am today. I think that there was an unwritten expectation that you try out the family business because why not? Right. You when your boss can be yourself pretty much. I think that that's one of the huge benefits to it. But I was encouraged to stay connected to the outside world, not just the family business, and put on blinders and only do that. No, go study political science and psychology in college and then get an MBA that concentrates on human resources and international business, So I think that a lot of family businesses might not have that. It's just, here's the business. You need to learn the ins and outs of it. Where I can speak for me, I was given the opportunity to learn a lot of things in the outside world that I could bring into the business. And also, like, I have a side hustle too. And that's something that I think everybody should try, because what you learn by trying to create a side business where it's all you and you're in charge of everything. I have learned so much doing that, that I've been able to bring into the business at ABC. And as a younger executive, I think it's made me better, but also the family supported me doing that business. And of course it didn't take away from my job at ABC. If anything, it made me work more hours in a week because I still had to do everything at ABC. But again, I was supported doing that. So
wait a minute, what's the side hustle?
So I'm what you might call a health nut. And I've got 3 little kids, so I've always kind of been a health nut. But once I started having kids and you have to take care of the health of someone who is completely dependent on you, which I know you understand, because you have an 11-year-old daughter that you alluded to, you start looking at things differently.
Oh, dude, I got him from 37 down to 11.
There you go. So yes, you understand your world just completely changes once you start having kids, which changes for the better, but your mindset and everything, it's just different. It's hard to explain. But I'm sure if we had enough time, I could. But anyway, the business, it's a supplement company. I sell collagen protein powder. We've got some sweet certifications that let us sell to pro athletes. And, just being a health nut, that's when I was getting my MBA. I'm like, I could do this. I'll spend a couple $100 on collagen every month. And I'm like, I could do this better, which there's a naive thought. And then you're 3.5 years into it, still not profitable, but hey, we're having a good time. And it's, we're getting there.
But that's a good thing for you to experience, because it'll make you really appreciative of what your family has built.
Exactly. And I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that experience of starting my own business, and I've got, 4 contractors, call them employees, whatever, and I've got 3 other partners now that I've brought in. So I mean, we're a full scale business. We're only doing a couple $100,000 in sales, so we're not profitable yet.
Aww.
But understanding, I mean, it's coming.
Yeah.
Call the White Sox and the Cubs and tell them to buy our product, and then maybe we'll be profitable. But anyway, but that experience actually being, having employees, building the business, forgetting to file your LLC paperwork on year 3, and my other partner had to do it. Oops. It's to your point. You learn that at ABC, we're a well-oiled machine, and you come to have a better appreciation for what the 3rd generation who's in charge right now has built. And I think it's made me respect my dad and my uncle, who are part of that 3rd generation, and a cousin of mine who's on the other family, a part of the 3rd generation. It's helped me respect them more and appreciate more of what they've done, because doing it yourself, starting a business, is hard.
Now, we went through COVID last year around this time. We were just getting into the thick of it. We were freaked out. People were home. As a family business, families, it's just a right that we take care of family first. It's just a motto. But the size that you guys probably are, you had some employees. How in times like that do you put humans first?
It's a lot easier when you're privately held than when you have to answer to Wall Street. And I know that's not a fair answer for the Wall Street companies of the world, but for us, it was easy. Our mission statement is what guides us, and it's very simple. Most companies don't even have a mission statement, nonetheless know it if they do. And ours is make everyday celebrations better for our team members and guests, and team members first. So just look at that. COVID hits. What do? All right, we need to take care of our team members. It's pretty easy. You close stores earlier. You open up later. You give more time for cleaning. You put up shields in front of cash registers before anybody had any idea what they were. We were using PPE before we all got used to that term PPE. We were already doing hero pay before people knew what that was. It's just, we were already doing those things. And I want to tell you that it was easy, but of course it's not. It's hard decisions because it's uncertainty. And I can stand here a year later and tell you it was easy. But I will tell you, it wasn't difficult, because when you have a mission statement that drives your behavior and forces you to live up to that reputation, you just do it. And we look at our team members as extensions and part of our family. So, if I'm going to do something for my daughter, or my cousin's going to do something for his son, we're going to do the same thing for our team member, because that's how we look at them.
So are you a distributor, or are you a manufacturer, or both, and a retail place? So you have your own retail chain that you supply with import. Well, what I mean by import is things that you don't make, but do you make as well?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So most people probably don't know that the adult beverage business is a 3-tier system, and you're only allowed to be part of 1 tier. So all we do, we're the retailer, and we buy our product from the wholesaler, who's the middleman, who then they buy the product from the manufacturer. So what if you met it? What's your favorite item to consume when you want to have an adult beverage?
Jameson's.
All right, so Jameson, you are the manufacturer over across the big pond, and you're making Jameson. You have an agreement with, I think it's Diageo, who is the supplier, that they will represent you and they will sell your product in the United States. Diageo sells it to, I think, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Hopefully I'm not getting this wrong. But they're the wholesaler in Florida, and then we buy the product from them and then sell it to the end user. So you can see there's a lot of layers in there, and which is why, people think that alcohol is just this huge money-making item. It's really not. because there's 4 or 5 tiers that all have to make money off of it and all have to pay tax to the federal government and state government. So that's why Jameson, I mean, it's a great product, but it's $45 for a half gallon.
Yeah.
And in New York, it's going to be $80.
Yeah. So, so you're not allowed to be a vertical company in items that are on a schedule, so to speak. So is alcohol on a schedule as well?
Yeah, because it's a protected product, but other scheduled items, you can be part of the vertical integration. That's how, it's just alcohol is different. You can't, and a lot of the big companies are trying to change that through legislation, because that's what we do. We don't like a law, and the big company tries to change it. I mean, I get it. When you make more money than God, you can do that. So we have to evaluate all those potential changes every year, but most of the time nothing really changes because it's so complicated and every state is different. Really, if somebody wanted to geek out on the supply chain of alcohol, you totally could. It's super complicated, but like I am kind of one of those geeks that actually likes it.
So if you had some kid who's like 19 years old, you're sitting on the park bench, and you tell him, I'm part of a family business, and I know in this day and age they're like, what? But how would you explain to him to build a business at 19? And I picked 19 for a reason, because you're immature, but the world is yours. You still got the energy to build something that may be hard. So what would you say to that person?
I would tell that person to go work in industry or a business for somebody else first, and not try to do it themselves yet. Go work for somebody else for a couple years and read 100 books a year, and go listen to 1,000 podcasts, and go, just go, like, for example, go listen or go buy Tim Ferriss's book, Tools of Titans, where he has interviewed 150 people who have been there and done that. And they're just going to tell you, here's what I did. Go read Ray Dalio's book, Principles, where he just says, here is what we did at Bridgewater. And then go try to follow it. Be a 22, 23, 24-year-old that's worked for a couple of years and has gotten the education. Because really, like, I have the college education. I'm one of those people that thinks that college and an MBA is actually important. But I've also learned just as much on my own outside of school. I just don't think that learning should ever end. I think that we should be reading and learning from people who have done it as much as we can. So I would tell the 19-year-old, here are 100 books that I'm going to tell you to go read, and go work for someone else in an industry that you have interest in while you read every single one of those books. And then when you're done, go start a business and go do it.
Awesome. What is the name of your store again?
ABC.
I thought you were being vague when you said ABC.
So we Jack, when he got that name years and years ago, it was first number in the phone book.
Yes, or AAA something. That's old school marketing.
Exactly, but we've pegged the ABC to stand for Always Be Celebrating, because we sell booze, and 99% of people that come in our store are ecstatic when they walk in, and they just go, "Oh my gosh, this is 10,000 square feet of an adult, celebration store." Oh, okay, we're ABC, Always Be Celebrating. There you go.
Are you open on Sunday?
We are, except Easter Sunday. We're closed.
All right, I'm going to one of your stores on Sunday.
Nice. Well, wait. Easter's next
week. No.
Next week. Yeah.
No.
You're good.
This Sunday. I'm going to go in and I'm going to be a secret shopper.
It's all right. So email me a full page report. I need to know everything. I need to know who you interacted with. Just do it.
Right. Well, another thing I want to try and figure out, because you probably get in some hot water sometime. And what I mean by hot water, you're the HR guy. You're the VP of human resources and internal distribution. And you're dealing with family. So in my capacity, I am HR light, which means the businesses that I work for, they don't have a local HR person. And most people are very ignorant on processes and human resources. So when someone is like, hey, Emmett, man, I am about to, my girlfriend's pregnant. And I'm like, well, did you know that you can get 10 weeks of leave for baby bonding? That's the light version. But the other one is when somebody gets out of pocket. Somebody said something, and particularly this is very important in this day and age because we are extremely sensitive. You might hire somebody who's been on a couple months. Somebody says something, not to that person, but they're having a conversation with a person, and this other person is a third party, and they're offended. They come to you. Or it's a family member that does it, which is even worse. How do you balance that, my man? You know, like especially if, you know, you might have one of your brother-in-laws who's just on one day and he slips up and says something and somebody's like, but I know this is a little long-winded, but it's a family-owned company. So people know that's a family member. You know what I'm saying? So you got some animosity. I don't envy you.
It's you know, treat everybody the same. We don't make exceptions, and if you're a family member, like you're expected to be above what the expectation is, and I think that was ingrained in all of us when we came in the business. Because, like I alluded to earlier, I was not forced to come into the business. And when I did make the decision to come into the business, I mean, I was encouraged, but I wasn't forced. So I think that there's a difference there. And I remember the first talk that I got from multiple family members. It's like, all right, you know, you will be held to a higher standard, a different standard, and you will be expected to do that. So really, I've overseen HR for 4 years now, and I haven't had to deal with any family member issue, which is great. Hopefully I didn't just jinx the universe, but you know, time will tell. But you know, I was just what we do in HR, we just treat everybody like they're an adult because they are. Yeah. And I got asked a question on a different podcast. The guy mentioned the philosophy of hiring slow and firing fast. And I said, in a long-winded way, I got to the point at the end saying that I actually don't agree with that at all. I hire at whatever speed you want, because I've made some hiring decisions in 10 seconds, and they've been absolute dimes. I mean, just when you know, I'm a gut feeling kind of guy. But also, if you fire fast, you will get in trouble. Yeah. And if somebody steals from you and it's on video, fire fast. But for the most part, there needs to be some form of investigation and questioning and HR support. Because as I've learned, it's not just he versus she or two sides. It's usually like 5 sides. Yeah. And you have to find somewhere in the middle of what reality was. So, I mean, that's how you run HR with 1,600 people. Ooh. Is you have a really good team. I've got like 20, 22 people that make the job almost seamless because they're so good at it. And then you have the guiding philosophy of treating everybody like an adult and giving them the time that they deserve, even in an investigation. You just be consistent. And I know it sounds easy. Hopefully, but it's harder than it seems.
I know it is. If you deal with more than 2 humans, that's HR. You're talking with a person who has children through the generations. So that's HR in itself, which is just like, but what I really want to kind of ask is, what is it like for your family to be responsible? And this is why I give kudos to business owners, is because you guys have put people through college. You've given people health. At the end of the day, when you lay your head on the bed, you think about your family business. What goes through your heart?
There's a lot of people counting on us to do the right thing. And that's a huge burden. But it's a blessing, and it's an honor to be given that responsibility. And there's 1,600 team members plus another 1,600 dependents and kids that we're supplying jobs, we're supplying support, we're a self-insured healthcare plan. So
wow.
we're providing health to a number of people. Just about half of the team members buy our insurance. So we have a responsibility to them to care for and take care of them. So it's how I feel about my 3 children. I feel about our team members at ABC, and hopefully it doesn't sound too wishy-washy, but I think that if more business owners and more corporate executives for some of these massive companies, I'd love to hear their answer to your question. I think it's such a good question, because the truth is that being in charge and having the responsibility to take care of these people, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying, because you don't want to screw up. You don't want to let anybody down. But I also know, and I've studied enough, that you can't have that mindset. So I just flip the switch, and I lay on the pillow that this is an honor and a privilege, and I'm going to do everything I can to help and protect these people that are an extension of our family.
Well, Charlie Bales, I want to thank you for being on the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast.
Well, thanks for having me, Emmett. This is fun. I really appreciate it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's really simple. You are a billionaire. Actually, you're a trillionaire. Actually, I don't even think you can put the numbers on it, because I'm going to put it to you like this. Your mommy and daddy, they probably went to ABC, got a couple of drinks, and then they got in the back of the car, or they probably were just kind of hanging out, and daddy was like, hey, I got something to give you. He gave it to her, because when you give a woman something, she will make something for you. If you give her a house, she makes you a home. If you bring her food, she'll make you a meal. If you give her a little bit of yourself, she'll make you a baby. So when he gave a little bit of himself, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16, 16 became 32, 32 became 64, 64 became 128, on and on and on. At the 30-day mark, you were over 1 billion cells. It's 2 to the power of 30, and you hadn't hit the planet yet. You weren't even the size of a thumbnail, and you were 1 billion cells. So just think, 9 months later, all that multiplication, you came onto this plane, because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And the problem is, we have problems being. We have problems being in ourselves and with others. So if you just do like we were talking about earlier, which is live your life, stay in your lane, and be of service to others, you will find that everything you ask for in life will just come to you as if you were a magnet. Remember, when you get out the shower, drop your towel, be naked, look at the little flappy arm, the little moles, the little this and that. Like me, I've been up since like 2 a.m. grinding, and you see my eyes, they're a little beady, but I am living in gratitude because I got to live. When you see somebody else who vaguely resembles what you are, treat them with love, honor, and respect. Next time I talk to you, I'll talk to you. Till then, love you all. Peace.